lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Second of all, I do like men.
Yeah.
So
It's very clear. Because the reason I tried this was because I saw an article. Or just kidding. No, I didn't see an article. I saw it on TikTok.
dang it.
What
Sorry.
was that?
There's a freaking fly.
Oh.
Oh my God. Look at this is already turning out great.
Go us.
Go us. Welcome back to the podcast, spammers. I'm Nayla and I'm joined with Crystal, and this is our first episode. And today we're talking about being the DUFF. But first, we just want to talk about this podcast coming to fruition and the fact that we're actually filming this today. Crystal, how are you feeling?
I'm great. I'm nervous for our first podcast episode, so I might be a little giggly in this one because I don't know. It's a little different. It's a different format. I'm very comfortable on YouTube, but podcasting is like something new for me. Well, not really. I'm a liar. Oh my God.
I was like, you had a podcast, but okay.
I did have a podcast, but it was different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I'm okay. Let me get my thoughts together. I'm all over the place.
That's okay. We're learning.
Thank you. This is our first episode. I think maybe we should start off by getting our fears out of the way with this podcast. For example, I'll go first. One thing I'm worried about is feeling like we're not going to have enough to record. Maybe we think we're going to record a lot, but then we only have like 5 minutes.
See, she says that, but we spent the last 40 minutes just talking.
True.
Already. So I
That's
highly
very
doubt that we're not going to have enough.
That's true.
One of my fears is that people listening might get offended.
But
that's just a given. So if you get offended, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we don't have to share the same opinions.
Yeah.
We are all our own people, and that's okay. We're not here to tell you guys facts. We're here to share our opinions.
Yeah, we're literally just having a conversation.
Yeah, literally. It's okay. So the whole reason we started this podcast, if you listen to the trailer episode, it's because we literally don't shut up. We just spam each other, hence the name. Sorry for the spam. And we're here to basically just record it for other people to join in on the fun. And if you're watching this on YouTube, leave your comments down below. Share your own opinions. Again, we're not here to judge anyone. You are free to share your own opinion.
Yeah, I'd love to hear other people's thoughts on things. I like hearing different opinions because no two opinions are the same.
Same. That's why on my YouTube channel, a couple of people have asked me to start a podcast, which I'm very honored. You guys would like to hear me talk. But as you know, I had a previous podcast and it was different from my YouTube videos at the time, but somehow they kind of started merging and my YouTube videos are somewhat of a podcast. And so it just became really hard for me to differentiate the two. But when Nayla presented this idea of a duo podcast, I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I love having conversations with people. So this will be fun to just kind of share my own opinion and then hear someone else's opinion and see if we relate or if we disagree, because I love to disagree.
And now you're able to bounce off of someone too. I feel like that makes it a lot easier to have a podcast.
For sure. Because that's one of the things I struggled with was like trying to come up with a topic and trying to carry a conversation on for myself, because I would also worry about the time limit thing. I'm like, is this going to be too short? Is this going to be too long? Because I was new to the podcasting space and I didn't know like what people want to listen to. So now that I have someone else to bounce off of, it's just going to flow a lot easier.
Oh, yeah. And again, we can talk endless amounts of hours if we needed to.
Yes. Only with people I'm comfortable with, though, because when it's like other people, I tend to like shy and like not say anything.
Don't talk to me. Don't look at me.
Yes, it's just little me back from Paris.
I like listening. I like observing. And honestly, perfect segue. I think that being an observer and being shy is a big part of being the DUFF.
Yes. So I guess we'll just jump right into the topic of today's podcast episode, which is we're the DUFFs and we're okay with that. So Nayla, would you like to introduce the topic and why we chose it?
So for those of you who don't know what a DUFF is, the DUFF is the designated ugly fat friend. And it started, I think it really came to fruition with the movie The Duff that came out in 2015, starring Robbie Amell and Mae Whitman. The designated ugly fat friend does not necessarily have to be ugly, does not necessarily have to be fat, but it is basically the third friend in a group who is not usually very like, no one really has crushes on them. No one really, talks to them much. They're kind of the observer of the group. They're like the outcast almost, but not really because you're still part of the group.
I would actually like to reclaim the meaning of the Duff to the designated unconditionally fabulous friend. Period.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the times the Duff is the person that like is there for advice, and they are a big part of that group. They're just not necessarily the like popular one, or like they're not necessarily known for their looks, or like their dressing. They're known for other things like their smarts. I feel like that was a big part of the movie, was that she was really smart, and so she was tutoring him um in and he was what I'm like forgetting the plot of the movie. She was tutoring him, and
Yeah.
he was helping her try and get attention from her crush at the time.
Yes. And I guess before we even get into this, I would like to segue a little bit back
To Mr.
to
Robbie Amell.
Robbie Amell. Is it Amel or ML?
I've always said Amell.
I always said Amel. I don't know which one's right.
As an Arrow fan, I'm really disappointed in myself because I should know, but I'm gonna stick with
ML. You're probably
Amell.
right. You're probably
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Miss Nyla over here has met him, hence the thumbnail, which also she like photoshopped. And no, I did not meet him, but I thought it was like a perfect Photoshop job because I'm leaning my head on him and everything. I was like, that's perfect because I love him.
literally the way I scrolled through Crystal's Instagram, I was like, which picture is gonna work? Because Crystal has to be on the left side since I'm on the right. And then I found the leaning picture and I was like, this is it.
It, it,
Although, one thing, Crystal's not that tall.
oh no. Yeah, you really like
I,
added to
I
my
moved you
height
up,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
because
No, thanks for
you
that.
had to hit the shoulder. I couldn't have you not hit the shoulder.
Yeah, no, of course. Thank you so much for that. And then also, can you tell us a story of how it all happened? Like, please
Yes.
spill.
I was 16 at the time, and one of my friends in high school had already gone to this convention called Heroes and Villains.
Mm,
I don't know if that convention happens anymore, but it
mm,
was like a DC universe, but specifically for the CW shows. And so this event was happening, and it was a 2-day event. My friend had gone the day before, and he was like, you should go. Like, you're gonna love this. They're all there. You can walk up and meet them and talk to them. And so I was like, okay. So me and a friend ended up going, and I met several people that day. Okay.
just a couple,
They'll come up probably in later episodes.
for sure.
But we were just walking around and we saw Robbie Amell was there. There was no line, and I was so nervous. A lot of the memories are gone because I was so nervous. But I remember walking up to him and being like, I really loved you in the Duff. And he was really sweet about it. He was like, oh, like, yeah, let's take a picture. And he was like, put his arm around me and stuff. And he was like, thanks for watching. And I was like, yeah, I really like your cousin too. I'm gonna go meet him later. And yeah, it was a great experience. He was really nice. Like, there was no complaints there. Really good person all around. He's exactly what you'd imagine, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Very like basic white dude, but nice.
But nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm surprised that he was very nice. For some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's because sometimes I associate people with their characters. I'm like, he's a little douchey in the Duff. And so I was like, what if he's like that, like, in
He
person?
gave
But
off popular boy energy.
okay. Okay.
He was like, yeah, like, I'm Robbie Amell type of
Yeah.
popular, but I mean, that's rightfully so. You
Yeah.
know, he is an actor. He's done a lot of other things too after that. So it makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Also, have you ever seen the TV show Chasing Life? It
No,
was
but
like
I've
an
heard of
old
it.
ABC Family show. Well, he's married to the main character from that. And I don't know, I just thought that was a random fact I'd share because I was shook when I found that out.
I don't know who she is, but
Really? Italia Ritchie, I think is her name.
Oh yeah, I've seen. Yeah, they've been married for a while, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Nyla got to meet Robbie. We're not going to say
Yeah.
his last name because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right
Robbie.
or wrong.
Robbie.
Robbie A.
Robbie A.
All right. So let's go ahead and move into why we think we're the Duff. Nyla, would you like to start?
I think after watching that movie, so when that movie came out, 2015, I was 15. So oh wow, I met him like a year after the movie came out. Sorry, that just like got
Yeah.
registered in my head. But when I was 15, you're calculating how old you were, aren't
How
you?
old I was. I so did that wrong. I went 22 minus 2022 minus 2015 and it was like 7. I was like, I was not 7.
Oh my God. But yeah, so I was 15 at the time.
I was 19.
And I forget our age gap constantly.
Maybe I was 18 though, going to be 19. I think
Yeah,
that's
because you would have turned 19 that year.
yeah.
Yeah, I turned 16 that year.
Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we're 3 years apart. So
So I watched the movie, and first of all, back then I was a big, I mean, weren't we all romantic comedy fans back then?
mm-hmm.
And I loved every aspect of it because it was a character I could finally relate to. She
Mm-hmm.
wasn't popular. She wasn't really like the way she dressed is pretty much how I dress. The baggy flannels, baggy t-shirts, like, doesn't really do her makeup, doesn't really get dressed. Like that was me in high school.
Mm-hmm.
She was very into her studies, like didn't really do anything outside of that. And I saw myself in her. And then knowing what the acronym meant, when Robbie comes out on the screen and he's like, "Oh, you're the Duff," and she's like, "What?" And then they explain it. I was like, "Oh, that's actually me in my friend group, where everyone would have crushes on my like two friends at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But me, at least from what I knew, I was just hanging out. I was just there. And so I started relating to that, and I think it brought up memories from my entire life where I was like, "Oh, these are moments in my life where I was the Duff."
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I think I took the movie in. How about you? How about you, Crystal?
So this is a cool part about us having like a pretty like decent age gap between us because I was in college when I saw the Duff. And actually like I remember going to the movie theaters with one of my friends to watch another movie and I don't remember what movie it was. But I know it
Me
was
looks up
another
2015 famous movies.
movies. No, for sure. Look it up while I'm talking. So
Okay.
I can so we can like see which one it is. I think it was like another rom-com movie. Part of me wants to say it was either like um one of Tom Green's. Is that his name? John Green. Tom Green.
John Green?
I think is one of his
Was it like
movies.
The Fault in Our Stars?
It might have been. Like I don't know when that came out, but I know we went to go watch another movie and we saw the trailer for the Duff. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is so cool." Like that's who I am. I am the Duff. And so I was really excited and looking forward to go and watching it. And when I was in college, me and a couple of friends went to go see it and, watching everything. I literally would, I mean, some people might look at the movie and be like, this is kind of toxic because it's like, you're calling people the designated ugly fat friend.
Mhm.
But I didn't see it as that. I was literally like, imagine, okay, you know how there's a lot of little kids now looking at the Little Mermaid. We have our first Black Little Mermaid, which power to that.
Yeah.
And they're like amazed, they're like, oh my God, she's the
She
first
looks like
Black
me.
Mermaid. She
Like,
looks like me. Yeah.
mhm.
That's how I watched the Duff. I was like, oh my God, that's me. And I didn't really see anything wrong with it. Like, I felt seen. I felt like, here's a movie that is me, like personality wise. And I really enjoyed it. And I guess we can get into some of like the reasons why I related to it so much. But yeah, the movie was really great. I love that it was like Mean Girls style. I remember watching Mean Girls in the movie theater too. So it was kind of like a whole full circle moment.
Crystal's age is showing a little bit.
It's showing. I think I remember seeing the trailer for Mean Girls in the movie theater too. Did you watch Mean Girls at what age did you watch it?
I was a little sheltered growing up, so there was a lot of things I couldn't watch.
Mm.
But I was in high school.
When
So
you
it,
saw
it
it?
had yeah, it had been a while like after it came out when I saw it for the first time.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly don't know what year Mean Girls came out in either.
Very early on.
Yeah, because I do remember watching that in theaters. I remember seeing like the poster for the movie at the movie theaters.
2004.
Oh shit, maybe I haven't. Maybe I'm lying. How old would I be?
Yeah, I don't think you would have been like 7, 8.
I kind of feel like I did though, because I do remember that. That's like
Your
the weird.
parents were like, I don't know what this is about. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I went my aunt. I went my aunt and my
Uh,
cousins.
mhm.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty sure I
Also,
did.
I looked it up. It was definitely The Fault in Our Stars that
Okay.
you saw the trailer for the Duff in.
Okay, so we went to go watch the Fault in Our Stars, and I saw the Dove trailer, and I was like, "This is it. This is my movie." So I had to go watch it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to really think about the fact if I've actually seen Mean Girls or not in the movie theater, because I swear I
Yeah,
have, but my mind could be doing me dirty. Me just like, okay, this is oh my god, I'm gonna segue so much on our
that's
podcast.
okay.
Okay. So one of the things that just like drives me crazy about memory is that sometimes you don't even remember an actual memory. You remember no, sorry. Oh my god. You don't
No, I
remember
know.
the actual moment,
Yeah.
but you remember the memory. And so if
Hmm.
you lie to yourself and you tell yourself a memory, you're gonna remember that memory as the moment,
Yeah.
but it's not actually. So I think maybe that could have happened, but I
The way the brain
swear
works. Yeah.
but I swear I saw Mean Girls. Anyways, that's not the topic of today's video.
No.
I just wanted to say that
Unfortunately, it's not Mean Girls.
it's not, um, but it was a full circle moment for me seeing Mean Girls, and then now it's like, okay, I could see myself as the Duff.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and start talking about why we think we're the Duff. I think that's very important. So I'm gonna let you
Okay.
take it over.
Well, okay, and this is not me being mean to myself at all. This is just how self-aware I was at a very young age. I thought I was ugly. I thought I
Same,
was fat.
same.
It's not even I thought I was fat. I was fat.
Me
And I
too.
know I'm aware that I was fat. Like if you look at me, you look at my weight, like I was not the typical skinny little popular girl. Um, was I ugly though? No. But did I think I was? Yes, because insecurities and all of those things. And so obviously those two things being in the word made me realize, yeah, that's me.
Mhm.
And then the other thing was again at the time it was me and two of my friends. We won't be dropping names just because, for privacy reasons,
Mhm.
but it was the three of us. And those two, like, boys had crushes on them. They were like kind of more popular. They were both skinny, like they were both deemed as like pretty. And so obviously me being the one who was wearing flannels and like baggy clothes all the time, I was like, oh yeah, me.
That's me.
Yeah. And like you said, like I even with the movie, I felt seen. And so once that movie came out, I realized, even though I realized I was a Duff, it was like not necessarily a bad thing anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I also agree with you in that when I, heard the acronym and then they like actually said what it said or actually said what it meant. Sorry, bilingual problems. I can't speak either English or Spanish. um I was like that is so me, and it's not that I was being mean to myself and being like I'm ugly, I'm fat. It's just that like that is what I was in terms of society's like
Standards.
standards. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was always in high school, I was like super shy. I rarely talked to other people unless they were my friends. Then I felt comfortable when I would talk to them. I was also not like your traditional pretty, you know, popular girl. And I was a little overweight, which looking back, I wasn't as overweight as I thought I was, but my
Yeah.
mind made me think I was overweight
Yeah.
at the time. But
Definitely
yeah,
felt that one.
yeah. And so it's not that like I thought I was the ugly fat friend. It's just that I wasn't your typical girl that guys were attracted to. And also like same with you, I like didn't really do my makeup, or if I did do my makeup, it's not like I was looking all pretty and stuff. It was just like to cover up my pimples.
Yeah. It's like, let me cover up my scarring. Let me like put some mascara on, but really badly because I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Also, like I think during high school, boys are attracted to girls that like are a little bit more femme. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was like, I was a girly girl, but I was also kind of like a tomboy. I was like in the middle, best of both worlds. But
Yeah,
my
sorry,
parents,
I felt that.
right?
Yeah.
Well, it snaps.
Yeah. I
um
do the jazz hands.
oh, okay.
We used to
We'll do
do this
that.
we used to do this in high school.
uh
Yeah.
my parents were also a little bit like on the stricter side, and so I couldn't really like get my nails done. I couldn't wear eyelashes. If I like got my makeup, it was like the basics, like the foundation, maybe a little like colorful lip balm, little things like that. But it wasn't like I couldn't really, I guess, free expression in high school. It was just a little bit like baby steps. And so I feel like I wasn't able to blossom in high school. And so I wasn't your traditional beauty.
Yeah, I wasn't really wearing all my clothes were really baggy because of, a lot of it had to do with my insecurities, but some of it also had to do with like culturally, my mom didn't want me wearing the tightest clothes to school, you
Same.
know, and I'm grateful for it now.
Yes.
I had no issue with it. That was another
Me
thing
either.
was I kind of didn't care enough to be like, I want to look like the rest of the girls in my school. Like I was very much so like, this is what I'm comfortable in. This is how I like to wear my clothes. Like I am okay with this, which is why I think it goes into me being okay with being the Duff.
Yes. I 100% agree. See, this is what I love is that we literally were the same person.
Yeah.
We live the same life.
We
I
did.
always say same hoe, different area code.
Same whole different area code for
We're not hoes.
sure. Nope. We'll get into that. We'll
Yeah.
never get into that because we're not hoes.
We're not. But yeah, I also was the same way. Like I really didn't care. Like I know that there's some people who are like, oh, my parents are so strict, like I can't do anything. They'll like go against their backs and like go and I don't know, sneak out of the house or something. But
Oh
like
yeah, I never no.
I rarely didn't like care as much. Like I had my friends. My friends were also like me. They didn't really go out all the time and so it wasn't really like, I don't know, not anything I needed to like fight my parents on. I was just
Mhm.
okay with those rules.
Yeah, like we accepted it. We weren't really defiant about it, you know. It's like
Mm-hmm.
in my I like to think of it as not really following the rules, but just, accepting the rules and being like, this is how my life is. It's different than other people, but it's different for a reason. Like the way my parents are thinking, or it's for me. It's not for like selfish reasons. You know,
Yes.
they weren't letting me go out because they were scared of something that could happen if I went out. They weren't scared
Yes.
that I was going to do anything bad, but they were scared of other people.
Yeah, like what could happen,
Mhm.
which I am also very thankful for now. Maybe like part of me at some points in my life where would think, oh, I wish I had maybe a little bit more of a lenient household growing up. I could go out, hang out with friends, have like the whole movie teenage life. But now as an adult, I'm honestly just very grateful because I feel like it did help shape me into the person that I am. And I do not need or depend on anyone else. And so I don't know. I just feel like I'm grateful for the way that I grew up. I have no complaints because it shaped me. I am who I am.
I agree. But going back to being the Duff, are there like moments that you think about that where you were specifically like, here's an
Uh,
instance of how I knew I was the Duff?
yes. Actually, okay. So I mean, my whole life I've been the Dove. Like my whole life. I've never really labeled myself as the Duff until the Dove came out. But, I've always known that I was like the less attractive friend. And so, growing up, I had this one friend who, I mean, we were really close and we did everything together, but she always had boyfriends. Like our whole friendship, she just always got guys. Like even when we were younger, like I'm talking like elementary school, like she had boyfriends and I never did, partly because I wasn't allowed to date, but also because I mean, guys never really approached me. I don't know if it's because I give off don't talk to me vibes or I don't know why, but yeah, no one ever really approached me. But my friend, she always had boyfriends. And growing up, seeing that, it would make me question, like, why doesn't any guy ever try to talk to me? Or like, I would have a little bit of a jealousy, because I'm like, growing up, you're looking at your friends and you're like, they have all of these things. They're grown, they have boyfriends, they can wear makeup and stuff. And I'd be like, oh, why can't that be me?
Why can't a boy love me?
Yeah, literally. And
I
so
mean, I get that, like wanting just to match that,
yeah,
like
it's almost
she
like
has a boyfriend.
validation.
Yeah,
My whole life, like growing up, my friends have just always been the prettier, more attractive one. I'm not going to deny it. I did have very beautiful friends. And so it's just like the guys would always gravitate towards them. And I just was very aware of the fact that I wasn't the pretty one, like they weren't attracted to me. Um, Also, okay, this is probably going to segue into a whole different topic, but anytime a guy has talked to me, it's always been to make fun of the fact that they're talking to me. And so that just kind of like, I was like, okay, it's never actually going to happen. Boys are mean.
that's happened to me before. The way my heart is going right now. Like, let me check my Apple Watch because
For real.
no, that's happened to me, and it's so mean for like
Mm-hmm.
guys to be like, haha, like.
Right. I have like this one specific instance where I literally felt like my soul drop because it was in middle school. And um there were these guys in class who, I mean, I was the quiet one. Like everyone knew I was the quiet one, I was quiet and smart, which I always say I wasn't smart. I was book smart. Like I knew how to study. That's how smart I was. I wasn't like I could actually remember things. I was good at remembering.
Straight A student, baby.
Yeah. Um, Wait, I think I said that backwards. I didn't know things, I just remembered things. See? But now I don't. I think
Not
all of,
straight A student no more.
nope. I think all of those years in high school and college, just like my brain does not work anymore.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, I get that. And I just got out of college.
Yeah. So anyways, back to the middle school. I was in middle school and we were I remember we were watching a Bill Nye movie,
Mhm.
and there were these kids like at the back of the room, and they were like picking on a couple of other girls too. And then I was like, oh no, they're gonna pick me next. And then I just hear them say, hey Crystal, and I was like, no. And I ignored it. I didn't turn around, and they're like, Crystal, and then I turned around because I'm like, they're not gonna shut up if I don't turn around. So I turned around, and then they go, I forgot his name. They'd be like, I'm just gonna say, I don't know,
John.
John. John wants to go out with you, and I literally, I think I flushed like red. Although
Mhm.
I don't think I turned red. I think I turned darker.
Yeah, we don't go red. We just go
No.
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so I remember I was like blushing hard, not because I was like, oh, he wants to date me. It's
it
because
was
I
just
was like, they're
embarrassing.
making fun of me. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I just like, I didn't say anything. I think I just maybe like gave him a side eye or something. And then when I turned around, I could hear them laughing. And that crushed my soul. Not because I wanted to date him. It's just like, why did they have to make fun of me? And so that just kind of ingrained in me that guys don't like me. They just want to make fun of me.
Yeah, no, that. Oh, did I get flashbacks to high school? Because freshman year there was a guy that I liked, and I like we
Oh.
occasionally talked, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
sat with each other in class, so occasionally. But then we would like we would also text, but he was very dry. And I was not a dry texter. I was persistent. But yeah, he would just say things to me that just like was weird because I knew it was like you're just saying this to make fun of me. Like you're probably saying this to get a reaction out of me so that you and your friends can laugh about it.
Yes.
And
Oh
I
my
was
God.
like, and I wouldn't respond to those things because I'm like, this is uncomfortable for me because I know what you're doing. Like, you don't like me back. I know you don't. And so, and it's like, why? Why are you so mean? Like,
Yes.
I was just a little smart girl, you know?
Yeah. You're
Like,
just a little baby.
yeah, I was studious. I would just be in class and I would just study. And then, these things would be said. And I'm like, stop messing with my feelings. I know you
Yeah.
don't mean them. It
Yeah.
was
The
like
part.
implications of like that he liked me, and I was like, why would you imply it? Because I knew it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Because you hear through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That they're just making fun of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Man, no, elementary school, middle school, high school, they were some crazy years.
Oh yeah, no. And then so one of my like first instances of this, when
Mhm.
I was in fourth grade, there was this one boy that the entire school, like every girl had a crush on him.
Oh,
And
okay.
I used to walk to school with him because we lived close. And so every girl was like, Nyla, you like him. Nyla, you like him. And I'm like, no, I don't. I don't like him. This is just no. And I would also like start blushing because I was just embarrassed. It
Mhm.
wasn't that I liked him, and that would just make them egg me on more.
Yeah.
But then he ended up liking my best friend at the time.
Oh
And
no.
that was a moment where I was like, "Oh, I'm literally the Duff." Like I am in fourth grade, which means I was what, probably like 10 years
How?
old?
Yeah, I think so.
I was probably 10 years old, and I was over here setting up my friend with like this guy because he
Yeah.
told me, he's like, "Oh, like I like your friend." That was the other thing. If they
Mhm.
weren't talking to me to like make fun of me, guys were talking to me to talk to my friends. To be
Mm.
like, hey, because I was a tomboy, and so I had a lot of like guy friends growing up. Like that was just naturally who I was. And they would tell me like, "Hey, Nyla, I really have like a crush on your friend. Could you like
Let her
let
know.
her know, like set it up for me?" And I'm like, "We are 10 years old. You don't need to be dating anyone, but okay." And I
For
would set
real.
them up because I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't like you, so go ahead, you know?
Yeah.
But that was
Also,
like one of the only reasons that guy
yeah.
stopped. Yeah.
Yeah. It also kind of puts you in this weird position because you don't want to also be like, I don't know what the word for it is, but you know how like sometimes a guy will approach a friend and let's say this guy isn't necessarily bad, but the friend is just maybe automatically like jealous or something. So she turns him away without actually knowing if her friend wants to date him. I don't know if, like what the word is. Do you kind of, am I making sense?
No.
Okay.
Wait,
Story
okay,
of my
so
life.
if
Yeah. So like let's say this like really nice guy
mhm.
wants to approach your friend or wants to date your friend, but he approaches you and you just automatically like, no, go away. But maybe your friend has a crush on him. I mean, yeah, your friend has a crush on him, but maybe you didn't like talk to her and ask her if she actually wants to date him. You were just like, no. I guess like a stuck up, maybe. You don't want to be like stuck
Oh,
up
yeah, yeah,
or
yeah. No,
do you
I
get
get
what I'm
what you
saying?
mean. It's
Am I
like
making sense?
you're turning him down for her without knowing.
Yeah, but it's just like your ego maybe or your jealousy being like, no, go away.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's something I never experienced because I being aware that I was like the Duff, being aware that like this guy would never like me, I was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll set you up. That's fine.
It's fine. Yeah. No, like for me, one thing I don't relate to the Duff is I wasn't ever really approached to hook up my friend with someone else, but it was just like they would approach us when I was with her because I think I seemed more approachable. So they would like be talking to us and then
Mhm.
they would try to go after her, but
Mhm.
no one would ever try to go after me, sort of
Mhm.
thing.
Like anytime a guy approached you and a friend, it was always for the friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely also experienced that.
My friend is like right here.
No, I saw.
Well,
While you
like,
were doing that, I was like, I had the same exact pen.
did you know that these pens are supposed to be like the number one pen in the world or something like that?
It's not my favorite, but I just
Right.
like the fact that it doesn't smudge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Because the reason I tried this was because I saw an article. Or just kidding. No, I didn't see an article. I saw it on TikTok. And this lady, she was like, Sharpie just released the number one pen in the world because it glides so smoothly. I literally went to, I think, either Staples or Target to pick it up that same day because I have a thing for stationery.
I do too.
And us nerds.
Why do boys not like us?
Yeah, I wonder why. And so I went to go pick it up, but I did not like the way I don't think it glides
I don't think it
smoothly.
glides.
Right? Yeah.
Mine actually does the thing where it like stutters.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Aw, this is me in a pen. I stuttered
It's
too.
me in a pen.
Oh, this pen is the Duff. This is why I love it.
Shout out Sharpie.
Shout out
If you
Sharpie.
want to sponsor us. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if this doesn't make sense, you could totally watch the YouTube version. Little quick shout out there
Oh yeah.
before we segue back into our actual conversation.
Also, if you want to see some pretty epic Halloween decorations behind me.
Yes. Shout out Nyla's decorations. Just don't
Spooky
be
season.
alarmed. Just don't be scared.
Yeah, don't be scared of the black spider webs behind me.
Woo. All right, let's segue back. Sorry,
Yes.
guys. I am very scatterbrained. All right. So we were talking about instances where we realized we were the Duff. And so, yeah, growing up my whole life, I've always been the Duff. I've known it. But why don't you share another story if you have any more?
I mean, yeah, my biggest one was in high school. I was in a trio.
Mm-hmm.
And
trios are fun, but also just always don't always end right.
Oh yeah, no, this one did not at all. But I wasn't even involved when it ended. But whatever.
Oh
no. But when you're walking on the sidewalk and there's always that one friend who's behind or like on the side, that was always me.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of being that friend constantly. And I think a lot of high school, I just was always the Duff because like my friends were always approached by guys and I was just like there. And I think that was just, I was very aware of it during high school because of how smart I was and how I was always studious, and also how guys would talk to me just to talk to my friends.
Yeah.
That happened on like several occasions. It actually also happened reverse roles where I was friends with a bunch of guys because I was so like close to them, and there was girls who would be my friend. So I was even the Duff in a situation that's flip-flop.
If it makes it any better, I think I'm your Duff.
No way. Yes. We're each other's Duff.
Okay, go us. Power to us.
We're both Duff.
We're both the designated, unconventionally fabulous friend.
I love it. The fabulosa part especially. But yeah, I think it was reversed too, where there was like I was friends with a group of guys and there was a girl who tried to become my friend just to talk to one of the guys in the group.
Wow.
And so yeah, it was something I was quite aware of constantly. I think it also happened. Oh, it definitely also happened in middle school as well. I had a very close friend and guys always liked her and never me. And I don't think I didn't have an issue with it. Did it hurt sometimes? Like, did it hurt me at my ego a little bit? Yeah. I was like, guys will never like me. This is just a fact. Yeah.
Same. And I told you you were going to spark something in my brain. I will segue back, but you continue with your story. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget.
But yeah, I mean, it was just like kind of the thing where it was like, I just accepted it at that point. I was like, it is fine. This is just how my life is. And unfortunately, there's nothing I can really do about it. Like, because of how comfortable I was in my own skin, like how comfortable I was in my, well, obviously my insecurities were there, but like I didn't want to be girly. I didn't want to dress differently. I just accepted it. I was like, if I'm going to dress like this, if I'm going to act like this, if this is my personality, then I am the Duff, and I'm okay with being that person. But segue back.
I know earlier I said that I was never really approached to, hook my friend up with them. I wasn't directly approached, but these guys in college became our friends, and they were, well, one of the guy friends was like in love with my best friend at the time. And so he would always hang out with me and he would want to talk about her, or he would talk about his feelings towards her, like how he was a little jealous because she was talking to other guys or blah blah blah. And I'm just like, why are you just my friend to like talk about her? Like,
just an in.
Yeah, like, can't we just be like regular friends sort of thing? And so also this guy was not the type of guy that I would be into, and so I wasn't ever really like maybe like jealous or anything. I think that was just the moment where I realized that like I'm never going to be approached by guys. that was my defining moment where I like realized that. Also, the same year I saw the Dove, so that's when I came to terms with it. And I remember literally going to go watch the movie with that friend who was also one of the ones that would always get approached by guys. And I literally went on this whole Facebook rant. My age is showing. And
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was like, I am I'm just gonna call her Jessica. I am Jessica's Duff. And I was literally like power to me, like I was
Yeah.
going on there. And it was just, I don't know, it was just kind of like my coming to terms with it moment, because I was like, all right, you know what? I don't care anymore. I am the Duff. Unfortunately, these guys don't want me, but I don't need them, sort of thing. So I was like, yeah.
And I mean, hey, I know we keep saying that like we've come to terms with it, guys will never like us. That's not necessarily true.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not putting ourselves out there or anything,
Yeah,
but
for
someone
sure.
could come along,
Hmm.
just like Robbie did.
Yeah.
Just like Robbie came
Just
along.
like Robbie did. I loved Robbie. I was so in love with him when I saw that movie.
I can't get over. I like how we're talking about the movie again,
I know.
but the rock scene when she was
With Bella
so
Thorne?
sad. Yeah.
Oh, that crushed me. I felt like I was dating Robbie and
Yep.
he did that to me. I was like,
That hurt me
no.
on a different level
I
because
was like, Becca.
it wasn't even like it wasn't even like she was upset that he was kissing another girl. She was
Yes.
genuinely upset that he took another girl to her
To
spot.
her rock.
And like
Mm-hmm.
I think that also affected me a little bit because if anyone ever did that to me, even like whether I liked them or not, like that is so hurtful.
Yes.
That is such a sacred thing that she showed him and she trusted him with. And his priority was just to go make out with a girl.
Yes. Oh my God. That was literally same. I felt so crushed. I think from one Duff to another, I just really felt her pain.
Yeah. Because I don't think anything like that has actually happened. I've had friends, okay, I've had some friends take like again, I'm friends with a lot of guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had some of them take like girls to like spots I've shown them.
Oh.
But like none of it was sacred, like my rock.
Yeah. Yeah. But
None of it was my rock.
I'm sure you felt a little betrayed just because you
Oh
did show
yeah.
them that spot.
Oh yeah. I definitely felt a little bit betrayed. I was like, okay, I showed you that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little off-putting, and I get why she was so upset. Like I wanted to cry in that moment for her.
Same. Same. I felt so crushed. Oh man. Just thinking back to it, it makes me like feel some pain. Cause I mean, I've never been in a relationship before, but I feel like I've learned a lot about relationships through my friends' relationships,
Oh yeah.
and just seeing a lot of them like just fail completely. I feel like that turned me off of relationships.
Actually, speaking, I feel like that's a big part of being the Duff is even though
Uh-huh.
you've never been in a relationship, you give relationship advice.
Yeah, yeah, they always come to us because they're like, you have a clear mind. You've never been like
And
swayed anyway.
it has benefited though. I like
Mhm.
listen, I give great relationship advice.
Same. I feel like I do too. I think because we're not biased in any sort of way. So we can
Yeah.
like we're observers, so we like see. I feel like you don't necessarily have to be in a relationship to understand how a relationship works.
No.
Maybe you've never so because sometimes I think about it and I'm like, maybe I don't understand like the whole like sacrificing part of it because I'm very independent. But I know that like sometimes when people are in relationships, they're like, a relationship is work, and sometimes you have to put the other before you. And
Compromising.
yeah, compromising. There we go. And so maybe I don't understand that portion because I'm like me. It's all me. Like I'm first. That's why like I feel like I don't have time for an actual relationship because I'm like I don't have the time to give to other people. I don't want to give my attention to someone else. Like the person has to be like perfect in order for me to want to give them my time. So yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Power
But
to me.
the advice honestly, power to you because I mean this is kind of going a little bit off
Uh-huh.
topic, but when you are working on yourself, both emotionally, mentally, physically, like it takes a lot. And
Yeah.
so I would understand why, like, even I, again, not putting myself out there, not looking for anything, because I'm
Yeah.
working on myself right now.
Yes.
And like, oh my, I think this goes into being the duff, but when people are like, oh, you've never been in a relationship, or like, oh, you've never dated
Yes.
anyone, it's like, just because I haven't, that doesn't mean that I necessarily like am sad about it.
Yeah. See, that's like the issue I have with like saying out loud that I've never been in a relationship and I'm 26 years old is not because I'm not okay with it, it's because other people always have a reaction to it. Like they'll be like, "Oh, well, why haven't you ever had a boyfriend before? Are you gay? You're pretty. Why hasn't everyone ever approached you?" And I'm like, "Okay, first of all, I didn't say I wasn't pretty. Second of all, just because I've never been in a relationship doesn't define my sexuality."
Yeah.
And like I've had several people ask me that just because I've never like had a boyfriend. Like there was literally a coworker of mine who we were talking about relationships and I was like, "Oh, I've never been in a relationship before." And then she goes, "Oh," she's like, "Well, you are straight, right?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." And I don't know, that just like it's happened so many times throughout my
What's
life.
what's interesting is they immediately go to, are you gay? But what
Yeah.
if you were ace?
Yeah. It's like,
Like
what? I don't
there
know.
are people who are ace, there are people who are aromantic, asexual, who don't want to be
Mhm.
in relationships. Like, why are you assuming something about someone?
Yeah. Also, I mean, I don't know if this is like a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
I've questioned of whether I was asexual before because I've never really like been in a relationship before, but I think that's just other people's thoughts coming into
Mhm.
my brain.
Probably.
Because again, like I'm not turned off from like ever being in a relationship. It's
Hmm.
just that I don't really have the desire to want to chase one or to put myself out there right now. So I'm just on my own timeline, basically. That's what I'm defining as my own timeline.
Plus, I mean, you have thoughts about Robbie A, right?
Yeah, I was in love with Robbie Amel, Amel. We don't know what his
We
last name
don't know.
is.
We still don't know.
Yeah, no, so like for sure, like I've had crushes and stuff. It's just I've honestly, I know that's a whole different. We could get into that later on in a different topic. We're like we're segueing so far from where we're actually talking about.
No, I think it still has to do with being the Duff, because I think
Yeah.
a lot of Duffs, I mean, even in the movie, she was assumed to be a lesbian.
Oh, true. I forgot about that.
A lot of Duffs, because I've people have asked me.
Yeah.
I have been approached by too many people being like, "So you're gay?" And I'm like,
No.
first of all, my sexuality has no correlation to what's going on in my life,
Yeah.
whether I'm choosing to date or not. That has nothing to do with it. So let's not assume things about me.
Yeah.
Second of
No.
all, I do like men.
Yeah.
So
It's very clear. It is very clear.
look, if I open this closet door,
No. I need to see this after the
I'll
podcast
show you.
ends. Okay, thanks.
I think it's one of them.
Is it just like one of them? It's like a whole poster wall, like
Oh, I think it's this one.
dedicated.
It's not okay. So I actually, again, because I do like men, was very open to having my posters on my wall throughout my entire life. And then when I moved back home from college, I was like, okay, I'm 20. I need to put the boys away. So into the closet they go.
Out of sight, out of mind, but they're still forever there.
Oh, they're in my hearts forever. Listen, we could have a whole episode. Honestly, comment down below if you want to know about all of my male crushes in media.
I will be commenting down below.
Because I got a lot. I got a list. I can make a whole presentation about this.
Ooh, okay. Well, that is going to be a future episode. All of Nyla's men.
Just all of my boy crushes, all of my white men. Just
All
put
of
them in
your
line.
white men.
I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
All right. Well, back to the dove
Yes.
before we segue even further
Uh-huh.
from where we were. Yeah, definitely your sexuality being questioned is part of being the dove for sure. I'm sure anyone else that defines themselves as the dove can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more stories, or would you like to move on to why it's not a bad thing to be the dove?
I'm ready to move on if you are.
Okay, I'm ready to move on too. So, we wanted to go ahead and end the podcast episode off with explaining why it's not a bad thing to be the Duff and how we realized maybe that it wasn't a bad thing to be the Duff. I feel like we kind of already talked about it as the episode went on, but we'll do a little quick summary.
We'll close it up on this one little thought.
Yes. So take it away, Nyla. Me saying this is what we're gonna do.
Just the
You
whole
take it away.
time. Take it away. Yeah, I've said it a couple times now. I am fully okay with it because this is how I choose to be. If you are living your life the way you want to live your life, and if people are saying things about that, like, people will judge you no matter what. That's just what society does. And so a lot of the times, when you think, oh, being a duff is a bad thing, it's truly not if you're being yourself. If you don't want to be the duff, right, you can change your personality. You can change your looks. Not that you have to, but you can. You have the option to. And so with me, I was like, I'm not willing to put that much effort in. I don't like wearing a full face of makeup. I don't like wearing girly clothes. I don't like wearing tight clothes. Like, I don't want the attention from guys, at least now, where I am now. I don't want attention from guys. Like, I am okay with who I am, where I am. I like working on myself. I just like being me. And so if that means I'm the Duff, then I'm the Duff. That is who I am. And so that's why I'm okay with it, because at the end of the day, it's just me being myself.
Yeah. It's just a little, I guess it's kind of like bad that we're labeling ourselves, but it is a little label that I feel like makes us feel seen in a sense.
Well, it's we're the designated ultimately fabuloso friends.
Friends. I feel like we've changed what the U stands for throughout this whole
Probably.
But anyways, yeah, I agree 100% with Nyla. I mean, growing up, obviously, you're going to be very observant as to how you're being treated by the other species. And so it might make you feel very insecure. It might add to your insecurities. And growing up, I did feel very insecure because of that as well. But now as an adult, I'm honestly so okay with having been the Duff because one, I really don't see myself being in a relationship. Like, I feel like mentally I'm still in the ew, boys are cuties.
Ew, don't touch me. I don't like you.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm okay with it. And so I don't know. I feel like I came to terms with it a little bit later on in life. But, after the movie, I just felt so seen that I started coming to terms with it. And I'm like, I am who I am. I'm the Duff. I love being the Duff. I don't want to be someone else just to be approached by guys. If I am going to be approached by someone, it's going to be me as me. And so I am the Duff. I'm just going to say it loud and proud.
And we're waiting for our Robbie A's to come through.
To come through. No rush, though.
No rush.
It's got to be the right one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nyla, we finished our first podcast episode. How do you feel?
I'm so glad we started with this one.
Yeah.
I think it really establishes who we are.
Yes.
I think it gives the viewers a lot of background, listeners a lot of background on who we are.
Yeah.
And also, I told you we would have a lot of content.
Yes. This is what I was like worried about, but I also knew that we wouldn't shut up. And this feels like such a safe space, so I feel like I can just talk. And also, like, the thing is that the conversation doesn't end here.
Oh,
like,
absolutely not.
I'm so sorry. I hope you guys didn't hear me smack. I should stop touching.
Not the pen.
I know. Sorry, Duff. The conversation does not end here. We will continue talking about this in other episodes. We might maybe talk about similar topics, but we will always have something different to share, more to share. So make sure that you guys are following along with the podcast. Also check us out on YouTube at Sorry for the Spam. And we will be releasing a new episode every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So for Eastern Standard Time, I think that's 9 a.m. before daylight savings. After daylight savings, it'll be a little different. But make sure you guys are following us on there. Also, follow us on our Instagrams. That's going to be noted by Nayla and Crystal Valenzuela with an underscore at the end. And yeah, you have anything else to add, Nayla?
Just thank you for listening. Honestly, if you've taken your time out to listen to us just talk about random stuff, we both really appreciate it, because we just wanted to share our thoughts.
Yes. Sorry in advance for the spam. Literally.
So
But
yeah,
yeah.
okay, let me just get the elephant out of the way.
Mhm.
We usually end it I say usually as if we've done it
I
multiple
know.
times. We ended our podcast with our outro together, and unfortunately, because we are recording this now through Zoom, since we are no longer in the same place, we
Mhm.
won't be ending it together, which sucks.
Yeah. Also, can I just say that two brains are better than one because everything that I, you know, can't think of, you will pick up, and that's awesome.
And I'm telling you, we bounce off of each other so well.
Yes. So thank you guys again so much for taking the time to listen to us. Make sure you're looking forward to next week's episode. Again, check us out on YouTube and check our description out. We'll have all of our links on there for you guys.
And sorry for the spam.
Bye, guys.